Rusty with GritShift. Today we're going to go over part 2 of the DragRon. So we previously did an intro on this bike, just touching on the base configuration. We've now changed quite a bit of things on it just because we've been testing. We've been making test hits. And from there, we've seen some things we want to change. So right now our configuration is as follows. We got a KO Moto Mink battery. This is a prototype battery. So right now, this is what we think our limitation is. We cannot confirm it, and KO's already confirmed to us that they beat the crap out of this battery before they sent it to us. So with the production run, they're saying they're going to be able to peak about 33 kilowatts. Right now we're pulling about 22 kilowatts. So we do have another production run batteries on the way, as well as a custom built battery coming to us, which granted, the custom built battery is a little bit outside of our goal with this bike, which was to basically build it to where anything could be bought by you guys. No custom crazy built one-off parts, no custom crazy engineered parts. So the custom battery is a little bit of a stray off, but we are gonna also be testing the production version of the KO Moto Mink. Paired with that, we have a KO Moto Rush controller and a KO Moto big block motor. Now those have been great. We haven't had too many issues with them. Really, it's just been on tuning. Now that is probably the biggest advantage to us right now is with the KO Moto Rush controller. And all the KO Moto controllers, you can actually tune by RPM increments. So Josh is a wizard with the keys, and when he's tuning it, he's actually tuning it so where when we make a test hit, he's watching it, and at every RPM increment, watching it if the wheel's coming up, spinning, or anything of that sort, and he's bringing power back in line. Basically, the goal is to float the front wheel about 4 inches with no greater increase. So that's been a really, really nice help to be able to step that power in just right so you can get on and just quit throttle and grip. Granted, I've been deemed a little bit scared of the throttle sometimes because Josh loves to give me crap for that. You know, Bullet's saying, I can go faster, I can twist that throttle better. So I think he fits that problem because he's got me a nice custom seat here. This is one of his pride and joys. He built it because I was having a problem when we were doing test hits. On dragy verified runs, we're pulling almost 1.5 Gs. I was feeling like I was sliding off the back. So he's built me a nice little bump up on our seat that should hold me in real tight. Everything else in this build is pretty much production available. You can buy it off our website or anywhere to buy Sur Ron parts. We got stock 17-inch Sur Ron Supermotos, Hayes Dominion rear brakes with, this is a 203 millimeter rotor, so no super secret sauce there, just DOT fluid so we don't boil them. We have a KO Moto swing arm with Vanguard extension, so we're overall plus 4 inches back, which greatly helps with that launch. We also have a 200 millimeter D&M RCS burner shock. This is about 150 mils lower than your stock 350 mils that you see on the bikes. So with that, we had to put a 1.5 inch linkage on here, and that's just to help correct some of the geometry, and just a standard upgraded triangle just to finish the effects. In the front, we have fast ace forks. On these forks, they have upgraded seals, a little bit stiffer spring, and we have lowered them in the tubes. Now, with that, we were really worried about what if the bike gets a cutout or what if something happens, we have to get off throttle or do an emergency. So we managed to mount these clip-on bars up top. These are just standard Amazon clip-ons, but we mounted them up top flush with the fork caps, so that way if you do have to come down hard, brake hard, anything happens, you do not have to worry about hitting your chest on these tubes. That could be a pretty gnarly injury. I don't really want some broken ribs. In the front, we got Hayes Dominion brakes. Once again, DOT fluid. Now we know the mountain bike brakes, we've said it before, they do boil over quickly. You know, you can have issues with brake fade. Your rotors will get hot and start to warp. Luckily, we're only riding this bike in a pretty safe environment to where we can do a full run and pretty much coast to a stop. We're not doing any hard brakes unless, once again, it's an emergency situation. So we've been pretty happy with that. One of the other parts that we'll say kind of defeats the purpose of the build a little bit is we did put a steering dampener on here. This is mounted to the frame point here as well as the front horn mount and to the steering lock. So that is something that is not available right now. It is pretty easy to build if you're any sort of jack of all trades and you have an angle grinder and some sheet metal, but that is something we will be potentially offering soon on our site. So far, this thing's been great. We do right now have the fastest 0 to 60 times and 8th mile times, and we have not really pushed for 100 mile an hour plus times. We feel like that's gonna be very easy to hit with this setup, and we're really trying to focus on the 8th mile times and potentially bring it through a strip and go against some of the gassers and see how it stands up. So this is DragRon part 2. We're gonna keep making changes to it. We haven't really needed to do anything crazy. The steering dampener is more of a visual effect right now because the bike is very stable. The trail and the rake angle have actually come out to be what we expected, and at the upwards of 80s at the end of our 8th mile, we're not having any vibration, no wobbles, anything of that effect. So it's on there, but this is for future when we start going really, really fast. If you guys got any questions, please ask us. We'll be happy to go over anything on this build, any specs, any help tuning KO stuff. That's what we're here for, and stay tuned. Soon we're gonna be breaking 100-mile plus clubs and quicker 8s.